Feel free to comment your own hot takes in the comment section below, as long as it's not the same as the ones we're about to read. So I initially uploaded a hot takes video about a thread that Goresh made on Twitter, and then there were some hot takes under that video that I responded to, and we're gonna keep doing this. People commented their own hot takes. As you can see, I didn't really go through any of these comments because I wanted to actually read it for the first time here instead of just having already read them and then going over it, right? So I am reacting to the first time with these hot takes. If you enjoy this kind of content, consider subscribing. Let's hop into it. First one first, from Sorbet Turtle. My hot take is that the content isn't too hard. It's just that the rewards are awful. A few stones and a support memory is not as great as rewards have been before. Units like LR Physical, Kid Gohan, and LR STR Trunks and SBR were some of the things that made that content worth it. Bring back rewards, Dokkan. Okay, so this, I'll say this right now, this is a bad take, and the reason why I say that, okay, before anyone says anything, this take and I kind of knew this from the first few sentences, and right here, support memory, I was thinking, is this person talking about SBR or ESBR? Content isn't too hard, it's just the rewards are awful. If your own, like, this entire take is about SBR or ESBR, if your box is advanced enough, SBR or ESBR is just not hard. It's just the way it is, right? And on top of that, the rewards for SBR specifically, saying that Dokkan needs to improve rewards and then focusing only on one mode is just a very bad way of looking at things, right? It's kind of like saying, yo, I need you to improve, you know, your menu options at some restaurant, and then you're only looking at like a quarter of the menu. It's not taking into consideration everything the game has to offer. So this is just a bad take. It's just a bad take. Now, if we were just to separate the SBR and say, is the content hard? Again, that's completely subjective. That's a bad take. There's no objectivity to this. If you're new to the game, content will be hard. If you're not, content will not be hard. It's very simple, right? Rewards are awful. That's not true. If you look at if you focus on one aspect of the game and then think that's how all rewards are, that's just not the way it works. So yeah, that's a bad take. My idea of how they can implement an alternative way to unlock the hidden potential paths besides dupes is doing it similar to the way Legends did it. Aside from making the item rare, they could also place a limit on how many you can hold at once. In this case, probably just one, and when you already have too many, it will be transferred to the gift box with a much faster expiration date. How they can implement a way to unlock the hidden potential path. So this comment is regarding a take in this video where I think someone mentioned that we need an alternate way to unlock paths besides pulling dupes. I think the way Legends has it is too easy for something like Dokkan, because in Legends, when you pull dupes, it basically factors into the star level of the character, not the dupe level of the character, right? Sorry, the star level of the character, but not the like hidden potential or whatever they call that in Legends. So basically what they're saying is we should be able to rainbow a character in Dokkan without any dupes, but pulling dupes should be able to still power up the character. I don't think I'd like that, but I guess we'd have to see how that would work, right? Hot take, you can literally finish 90% of the game with one celebration. 9th anniversary, for example. The only thing that makes it impossible is Battlefield, Battle Roads, and missions with specific teams. Ever since I started playing this game, the real hardest thing was STO Broly World Tournament and even Boss Rush. I wish the game was more harder and doesn't force you to pick the best team on every event. They should make stun possible on certain bosses or having a certain new strategy that the game used to have, where even the worst unit had ability that can help you beat a boss. So there's a lot to break down here. First things first, you can beat 90% of the game with one celebration. So 90% of the game, you basically have to clear all Dragon Ball stories. I mean, if I'm taking this 90% literally, I disagree. But I do agree in that if you have a big celebration where a lot of the events are available, you'll be able to definitely not cheese your way through, but definitely be able to burn through a lot of content. Granted, if you're new to the game, if you pull decent characters, because some recent Dokkan events are harder than previous ones, obviously. Infinite Dragon Ball history is no slouch when you're new to the game. So I don't agree with, if we're going to be a stickler about the 90%, I just don't agree, but I understand the premise, right? Battlefield is very hard for sure, especially like the newer iterations of it, especially for newer players. Super Battle Roads and ESBR, yeah, you need very specific teams. So I agree that bosses need to have a more unique way of either, you know, being hard, or units having a way, even if the unit, let's say, is bad. Like, I would love to bring in a quote-unquote bad character because they offer great utility to beating a boss, right? That's fun. Instead of, like what this person says, like Ultimate Chris says, bringing the same team every single time to beat an event. And I feel that. Hot take. More free-to-play content would do nothing but make everyone happy. Free-to-play SBR, free-to-play LGE, LGVE, LGGT, free-to-play God of Destruction, blah, blah, blah. Those fights with stats adjusted for a free-to-play meta would make garbage free-to-play units that can see no play in the current meta at bare minimum viable there, and would give players more incentive to actually grind out the free-to-play units. It would also reward players for already having these free-to-play units grinded up and ready to go. The support memory boost event is a step in the right direction, but going further would just give more content to everyone. So more free-to-play content. We have a lot of free. So the thing is, like, what do you mean by free-to-play content? Because every piece of content in the game is free to play, right? Free to beat is a different thing. But again, I'm just trying to understand these takes because I can't put words into Gogeta's mouth here, or I can't put meaning into their mouth. I can only read it and assume what they're trying to get across. So all pieces, there's not a single piece of content in the game besides maybe like that Whis event, which actually that hidden the Whis event that you can get Dragon Stones from with the keys. I do have a few free keys from that. So, but basically, unless I'm forgetting something, all content in the game is free to play. Whether you can beat it with a free team is completely, completely different. What I would really like to see, though, based off of their comment here, is if every event had a free to play, like, let's say for example a new Red Zone came out. There is the regular version of Red Zone that is adjusted and balanced towards the current power creep of the game, and then there was a different version of that Red Zone that was balanced towards the strength of all the free-to-play characters in the game. So if I wanted to bring free characters into the event, the boss would obviously hit a lot less hard, right? Like, it would be balanced according to how strong the current free-to-play meta is in Dokkan. So I'm still experiencing the same difficulty, right? It's just with a different set of units. I think that would be really cool because it allows me to bring in a completely free set of characters and still take on the hardest events in the game. That would actually be really sick. I actually really like that. I don't know if that's what they're going for, but I do really like that idea. Not a hot take at all. Character dupes, I know I don't want that in Dokkan. Okay, there's just responding to myself in the video. Hot take, Bio Broly and Farmer with the Shotgun both need an LR that breaks the game. I absolutely agree. Hot take, you should like and subscribe. You read it there, not even me. Demir, appreciate you. For real though, it's about Dragon Ball Heroes units get taken seriously. Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta was amazing, but just like the rest, he is a collaboration exclusive. It's time to add them to the general pool and make the Dokkan Fest characters on banners. Speaking of collabs, please can we get Shallot or a Shallette and Zaha and Giblet? Legends and Dokkan, I don't know if they'd ever do a genuine collab. I guess we'll see. Now, Heroes units being taken seriously, I disagree. Okay. that heroes characters should be added to the general pool. What makes the entire hero celebration quote unquote hype is that it's once a year. If you can pull these characters off any banner, there'd literally be no reason to summon when Heroes drops, besides like, oh my god, it's new characters, but you'll just be able to get them later, right? Like, there really is no point to summon for Heroes at that point. So I agree. Take Heroes more seriously in the sense of how good the characters are. Give us an LR for Heroes, right? But add it to general pool, I just disagree. I don't think we should be able to pull them like that. I like the fact that they're exclusive like that. And thinking about it, that would be the first banner after the sync. The amount of hype would be probably through the roof. Hype through the roof for Giblet or Shallot, I don't know. But what would Legends get for a collab, right? I don't know. Hot take, I think they should revamp the default wallpaper to let you display a unit's card or multiple that you can swipe through. It would be nice to better be able to display your favorite cards. I actually agree. That's not a hot take at all, actually. The main problem with the current default wallpaper is that it doesn't display the full card art and that it changes depending on which team you last use, so you can't really pick cards you want to display. I feel that. Hot take, they should bring back the old battlefield type. I absolutely agree. Yes, it was weird but unique, and they should do something like this in the future. Let me just show you. Dokkan Battlefield OG. Let me just show you, if I can pull it up, what it used to look like. So it used to be something like this, or something like this, where you would put your enemies in, put your allies into like one of these three rows, and then up here you'd have like the enemies flying down and then entering the bottom screen. And I forgot, again, I never actually played this mode because I think this is when I deleted the game, but I think you were basically stopping them from getting to, you know, like attacking you basically and doing damage to you. This format may be archaic as heck or something, but something like this they should definitely bring back as a different mode. And so it's, imagine like, dude, a tower defense mode in Dokkan would be so hype, dude. Imagine being able to put Gokus in and then fusing the Gokus to make Super Saiyan Goku. Dude, that would be insane, dude. Tower defense mode in Dokkan would go crazy. I don't know, bro. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Now, this is more of optional, but I think Exchange Transformation was the worst implementation for the game. Exchange Transformation was the worst implementation for the game. Make category harder to use. Sometimes the conditions are horrible and links are all over the place. Either they make both categories at the same time, or that no character have a drawback from the exchange. What character specifically are they talking about? Because just so I have like a clear picture. A hot take I agree with is the fact that different units with the same name should be able to link together. I just disagree. It would take away from team building. I really think so. Because they're never gonna stop adding Super Saiyan Goku to the game, right? So if you really wanted to just imagine bringing in a whole team of Super Saiyan Gokus, it invalidates every other character in the game. But if you can't run all Super Saiyan Gokus, you're forced to run other versions of Gokus, which means you're either running Turtle School, or you're either running Pure Saiyans, or you're either running Goku's family of Bond and Parent. So you're forced to run these other categories that actually exist in the game besides just Super Saiyans one team, you know? So hot take, not really. I wish there was more collabs from other licenses or IPs. I remember One Piece was there and I missed it. The only one I can think of is Arale, and I never summoned on her, but I wish in the future we got collabs. It would make the game feel a bit different. I would agree that it would make the game feel a bit different. I also would like to have collabs in the game, even if they're like nothing too crazy. Like, I think, I'm not gonna lie to you, I think it would be weird for Dokkan to release an actual summonable banner for a collab. But I could see Dokkan doing like a free-to-play collab. So, for example, let's say One Piece dropped, like a One Piece collab dropped, and we got, you know, like Dressrosa, you know, Snake Man Luffy versus like Dofi, right? Like, and then we got both of those free-to-play cards. That would be sick, I think, right? Or like a free-to-play like Rebecca, or again, if you watch One Piece, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, Luffy, free-to-play Luffy is all I'm trying to say. Or free-to-play Zoro, or something like that. Or how about a free-to-play LR Straw Hats? Join Forces lead? Come on, dude. Since we are doing hot takes, I guess I'm gonna put 3 down. Okay. Stun is the worst mechanic in the game. There are a few events that you can actually use stun the whole fight, and fewer that are actually worth using it on, mainly SBR, ESBR. And even then, you can mitigate the need for stun by using attack down, debuffs, super attack ceiling items, units that have damage reduction, dodge, bucket loads of healing, and revives. Okay, so number 1, I disagree. The fact that the bosses don't allow you to stun doesn't mean stun itself is a bad mechanic. The bad is the design of the game, right? Yes, give a character stun, but there's nowhere to use it. That doesn't make stun a bad mechanic. It's the design of the game doesn't allow the mechanic to be as good as it could be, because when you get the stun off, it's very powerful. It's extremely powerful, right? And then moving on here, I've had it to where I debuff an enemy's attack. You know, I can even seal and still die to normal attacks, right? So yes, you have other ways to kind of counteract taking a lot of damage from a specific enemy, but stun is still a very powerful mechanic. It's just unfortunate that the game's design doesn't allow us to really utilize it. That's my response to that. The golden freezes are the best extreme easy game Dokkan history. The golden freezes. Oh, AGL, Int, and the OG Tech ones. You can use either of them as a slot filler on any extreme team, and as long as you keep your health up. Hold on. Okay, as long as you keep your health up, which is even easier to do thanks to a lot of extreme units having healing. Your golden freezes won't let you down in terms of tanking, thanks to their 80 to 90% damage reduction. The only problem lies in their lack of damage, but that isn't what they're made for. I won't say they're the best. If the damage reduction of AGL and Tech Golden Frieza didn't have a HP restriction, I would say absolutely yes. But because they do, and I've had situations where I brought them on teams for that purpose, for that filler, and something happens where I get below 40-50% HP, and now they go from a filler character with damage reduction to getting me guaranteed killed, right? So they do have their major weaknesses. 50% HP is very easy to get under, especially if you're taking on like a semi-difficult event, because all you need is one bad rotation. Boom, Golden Frieza comes out, and you lost the fight because of that. So that's just what it is there. Dokkan should focus. So again, I disagree, but I agree and disagree, basically. Dokkan should focus less on super class units and more on extreme class ones. It is very clear that the villains teams are missing lots of love, and frankly, I don't like it, especially when we get the 50th Super Saiyan base Goku. Broly being a main unit in the 9th anniversary is a step in the right direction, but we should have an extreme class celebration for once. I literally made a video about that. I don't even know when I made that. Oh, right here. Yeah, it was a month ago. A villain campaign. I literally drawed out an entire campaign idea for an extreme class. So I basically were like jotted down and went through 3 months worth of nothing but extreme class buffs. I think there's like one super class buff in there, but not even sunnable characters. So I absolutely agree. And not only that, they definitely need to revamp the links for extreme class characters, so that way no matter what era they're from, what movie they're from, what saga they're from, they at least share minimum 2 to 3 links that give them key attack and defense, and maybe even a little bit of damage reduction. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, overall, again, I disagree. And then I definitely agree. Not sure if there's a hot take or not, but my take is that the LR team Bardock Easy honestly seems perfectly fine. I've seen some people say they suck because they can't be 8th or 9th anniversary content or whatever, but they're the unit you're meant to farm as a beginner. I'd be messed up if they were as good as a new sunnable unit. I mean, I won't say that you're meant to farm as a beginner, because not only did it take them 50 million years to release those copies of those characters, but to even get them is a little bit difficult, because you got to beat like things like Ultimate Clash, which is just not easy, right? So I don't agree with the beginner aspect of it, but I do agree with the underlying sentiment, which is a character doesn't have to beat the hardest content in the game to be considered good, right? A lot of characters, and I'm saying a lot of characters in the game cannot beat the hardest red zone, but are still usable in 90% of the content. So they should make a boss that can nullify damage reduction and dodge. Well, dodge, we already have that. Of course, it would be harder if you can't use items, but the rewards would be really good. In exchange, you can stun and reduce their defense. Plus, dodging is for a gambling addict. So, can nullify damage reduction is a very, very dangerous game. But to be able to, we don't care about lowering defense, right? We just don't care about that. If we're nullifying damage reduction, we have to be able to reduce their attack. And of course, stunning is obviously great as well. I think if you nullify damage reduction, stun would definitely see a massive play, like mechanic and utility wise, and obviously reducing attack. Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to get a mode like that for sure. I agree. My hot take is that all the 4 LRs from Anniversary are the top 4. Oh, from the recent Anniversary, so like UI Goku, Evolution Blue Vegeta. I mean, I don't. All the 4 LRs from Anniversary are the top 4. Yeah, it's hard to say because a lot of characters got easy Ace during the celebration, so I don't. Unless you're saying Gamma, like the new LRs, because Gamma, I wouldn't consider Gamma top 4, especially with all the easy A's, right? But yeah, edit, yo, they need to make a thing where you could make your own skill orb, so you can throw whatever you want together. Because right now, I want my beast to go on to have additional attack, but they don't give you those, so that's why I'm saying at this point you should be able to craft your own skill orbs. Craft your own skill orbs. How do we feel about that? Craft your own skill orbs. Ooh, you'd probably have to pay a heavy price for that, but huh. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds very interesting. Huh. Would they do? I don't think they'd ever do that though, would they? I don't know. I really do like that though. I like the thought of it. A skip option would be the best for Dokkan, as I don't pay attention to the game when I am grinding a new character. I literally have an app that makes these actions automatically, and I only pay attention when it's the harder events. I mean, I understand that. I still disagree. A skip option for summoning, yes, but for gameplay, it just takes away from the point of Dokkan. Like Legends, you know, you can skip PvE content because who cares about PvE content? PvP is where it's at, right? So Red Zone and other hard events is the most fun part of the game, and we should ask for even more content, especially the hard ones. And doing hard events with a semi-meta or bad team / category feels really good. Pulling the ultra RNG or using 100% of what the team can do in order to barely win the fight makes me smile. Yeah. So being able to unlock like specific active skills or passive abilities or something just at the right time to be able to get the victory does and is probably one of the best feelings in the game. It's like, but the thing is, it just comes down to RNG and how lucky you can get with certain rotations, right? But again, it just comes down to more content. I feel it. I missed free-to-play LRs. It seems we don't get many anymore. Instead, they have replaced these LRs with support memories. Don't get me wrong, I like support memories, but I'm tired of them. I also think the friend system and passive should be updated. Links shouldn't require hours of grinding or money for a small stat increase. Make it easier because the majority of players aren't R ain't gonna do all that. I think better rewards for links and completing missions is in check as well. I also need the unfair treatment for Global to stop. Global has gotten shafted so bad, I don't know if the sync will fix this. Also, no more AGL Goku or Vegeta animations, because oh my god, that is terrible. The main reason I summon is to have the characters and see their animations, but if they are bad, why bother? It doesn't matter how good the unit is if they aren't fun to look at. There's a lot to unpack there. What I will say is free-to-play LRs. I think we get a normal amount of free-to-play LRs, to be honest. Like the Prime Battle LRs, we get at a normal rate. The Anniversary LRs, we get at, you know, the usual normal rate. The new free-to-play World Tournament LRs or Ultimate Clash, which I think we're due for an Ultimate Clash LR pretty soon. I think who was the last? Oh, was it? Not Hyrule, what's his name? Hatchiak, right? I think that was the most recent one. And yeah, I don't think the pace of free-to-play LRs has slowed down, but would I like more? Absolutely. And then grinding links to be a little bit easier. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to that, right? But then it would kind of take away from how good power levels look. Because if you make it really easy to where you can complete like 100 units in a day, it's like your power level being 10 million doesn't really mean much as it used to, right? But yeah, overall, I agree. I have two hot takes. One, auto mode should be programmed to automatically use items. Huh. I'm down for that. Not labeling TURs as a unique rarity was a mistake. Well, yeah, TUR is a community given name, I believe, because it's still a UR. But from what aspect? I can't really counter this or even agree with it because I don't really know from what angle you're looking at it from. But I understand. 200% leader skill is a pretty small thing that they did recently. It changes thing, but not to the degree you are making it sound like leader skills getting better is a normal thing for Dokkan to do. Oh, so this is just a regular comment. And also I just disagree. 200% leader skills did a lot for the game when it first arrived. Now it doesn't seem like it is because many characters already have 200% leads, so you're not seeing the difference. But when 200% leads first came out, you notice a lot of characters get buffed. A lot. Orbs are easy to acquire. Zenny cost on Z Awakenings, though, is ridiculous. I agree. But Zenny is also very easy to farm. So, Super Dragon Ball Heroes characters should start to have more utility in other teams other than their own. Yeah, restrictions on these characters, I think, is just dumb. So I agree 100%. They shouldn't hold back on their kits or at least reschedule their celebration timing so they can be in a Dokkan meta more longer. And when the sync happens, JP will get global benefits and global will get JP benefits, missing voice lines, cough, cough, and hearts and Vegeta JP. Yeah, I got you. I agree. My hot take is that Tech Golden Frieza will have the best super easy out of all of them. This is probably not a hot take, because the thing is, his passive is very good already. Imagine new dupe system, you need 4 more dupes like something like Zenkai boost. That would be atrocious. Here's my hot take. We should not have any of the anticipated super units we want in Dokkan as TURs. We should not have any of the anticipated super units we want in Dokkan as TURs. Oh, Goku, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku, or Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, hit Jiren and Sign Goku. Because these units were already all TURs, and these units are too hyped just to be TURs. They deserve LR status. It's not a hot take at all. I absolutely agree. We need more free farming LR. I'll definitely take that. About the skip ticket take, I think there should be 1 daily skip ticket that you can use that you already beaten. I'd be okay with that. Skill orb level up. Y'all suggest the how. Another hot take, Elder Kai should be more easier to get. Elder Kais are very easy to farm, right? Most of them is through story events. It may not be coming out as frequently as we would like, but they're easy to farm. If we're talking about ease of getting, they're very easy to get. But should there be more? I agree. I think that's the point. Totally disagree about 20% leader skills. First of all, I have no idea how 13% overall stat boost is supposed to be comparable to an EZA. Like I mentioned in my video here, 200% leader skill. So if you have two 170 leads, your team is getting basically a 340% boost to stats compared to 400% boost to stats. So 13% stat boost, no. And then on top of that, you also have to factor in that I mentioned it was a mini EZA. It's not comparable to an EZA because EZAs completely rework how characters, you know, perform and new mechanics and stuff. So I said it's a mini EZA in the sense that it's just a buff. So it's not an EZA. I didn't say it was an EZA. It didn't bring old characters back into relevance because the content was made harder to compensate for extra stats. I mean, again, many characters were brought back into relevance, many weren't. That's just the nature of the EZAs, right? But back to the hot takes here. The best thing that they can do this year for Worldwide by far is DFE LR Baby Vegeta, who goes all the way up to Super Baby 2, and Carnival LR GT Goku, who goes up to Super Saiyan 4. I would love that. Dokkan is going to fall off after the 10th anniversary. Passives are becoming giant paragraphs, and units are getting really powerful. The 10th anniversary power creep is going to be insane, and I'm not sure if they can keep just adding more text for much longer. The thing is, the reason why I disagree, if you're only focusing on the long passives, I disagree. The reason why I disagree, let me pull up Tech, Gohan and Goten. Sure, let's just pull up a random unit. You know, let me pull up this unit right here. Let's go. Let's have fun here, all right? Let me do this. Let's show you something, right? So let's just go ahead and delete this. I'll delete this, delete this, delete this. Watch this, right? Watch this. So reduces damage received by. And this is just, again, an example, 90%, right? And then guards all attacks, and then attack and defense plus, you know, 250%. All allies key plus 3, and attack and defense plus 50%. This passive in today's meta is amazing. Like, actually amazing. Especially with this, you can really get away with this. Characters have a lot of their passive nowadays simply because they're trying to introduce all these new mechanics, or they want characters to be able to do X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, I mean, this is OP in today's meta. If we ever saw a passive like this, I'm not gonna say people are gonna freak out, but it's like what are they doing? 90% damage reduction is ridiculous. Guarding on top of that is stupid. 250% to stats is very strong. And then supporting all allies? And greatly raising attack and defense? Like, this is literally two passive lines away from being the best unit in the game. Because all I can do, again, and I understand the fact that, like, this is like, if you want to compare it to Beast, obviously Beast Gohan is just leagues better, right? But when I said a sentence or two, like, I can put something like, you know, guaranteed crits, performs 2 additional super attacks when, you know, a Goku's family category ally is attacking the same turn. Like, I can make this character stupid, right? It doesn't take a massive paragraph to do that. Is this passive realistic? Honestly, Beast Gohan exists. Golden Frieza already has this. It lowers over time, but to get a character like this, I wouldn't be too surprised, especially if it was a very super unique niche character that, you know, either no one's going to summon for or that it has terrible categories, so they need to make it good, right? I wouldn't even say this is completely out of the loop, to be honest. We're getting characters like the Int Gotenks easy has 300% to stat, so this isn't even unrealistic anymore, right? So passives don't need to be long to be good. That's just not the case. They can make characters very powerful with 2, 3, 4 lines, if of course that's the take itself. But if we're gonna focus specifically on just overall power creep, I understand the point. Like, how much stronger can they make these characters? And would we ever need to see like a reset, a rebalancing of numbers, because everything is just getting a little bit too OP, a little bit too strong, and I could definitely see that for sure. Hot take, too many of you all are forcing yourselves to play the game. I, for one, have moved on to different gacha games, and this one has been a bit stale. I've been playing since the Kale Physical Agio Khalifa Tech Cabbage banner on Global, and got to say that this Goku and Hyrule Garden banner has been the least hype for me personally. Forcing yourselves to play the game, that itself, if I ignored everything else, is probably a decent take. In the sense that a lot of people feel the need to hop in and play the game for whatever reason, to keep up for whatever. But it's really up to you at the end of the day. Like, if you like the game, play it. If you don't, right? Like, it's kind of hard to go back and forth with that one. And then the first idea about Kai being able to be unlocked, yeah, I'd love that. All right, let me know what you guys think. Put in your own hot takes in the comment section below, and then I'll record this for a separate video down the line. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and peace.